As the Formula One star drivers are racing against each other in Manama, the Bahraini regime continues its crackdown on peaceful rallies. Clashes erupted in the town of Bilad al-Qadeem on Friday between pro-democracy protesters and Bahraini troops who fired tear gas and used water cannon to disperse the crowd. The hosting of the championship in Bahrain, despite the country's worsening human rights record, has prompted activists and rights organizations to demand action to curb the increase in abuses. Amnesty International's branch in Bahrain has asked fans of the F1 motor race to call on the Manama regime to free prisoners of conscience. Watched by millions across the world, Bahrain's biggest sporting event is a ham-fisted attempt to restore its international image tarnished by rights violations.
The regime, the al-Khalifa regime, uses this event to bring international attention to Bahrain, to divert public opinion, to divert international focus, to divert the world condemnation of this outlawed, undemocratic, authoritarian, monarchical regime. So anybody who participates in this sporting event should take on the responsibility for knowing that they are supporting a very corrupt regime, a regime that arrests and tortures its citizens, and that prevents human rights from flourishing in the country. This is an event that is a diversionary attempt to keep people from focusing on the cruelty and the oppression of this monarchical, undemocratic regime.
Since 2011, Bahraini people have been holding peaceful protest rallies on an almost daily basis, demanding that the al-Khalifa family give up power in favor of a political system that represents all Bahraini people. So far, Manama has responded with an iron fist. The impact of Saudi Arabia's policies in this regard is most clearly visible in the role the kingdom has played in supporting and setting the stage for Bahraini policies of repression. When popular protests erupted in Bahrain in February 2011, the Peninsular Shield Force, including Saudi and Emirati troops, entered Bahrain to assist the regime in quashing the protests.
Mr. Mahdi, the Bahraini regime is a satrapy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. When Saudi Arabia tells it to jump, Bahrain asks, how high do you want us to jump? So Bahrain does not have an independent foreign policy. It does not have an independent domestic policy. It is a protectorate of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the dictatorship in Saudi Arabia definitely dictates what goes on in Bahrain.
Meanwhile, Britain has opened a permanent military base in Bahrain to beef up its role as a major player in the Middle East. The strategic base ensures a UK military presence along key international shipping routes and eases long-term British deployments in the Persian Gulf. Bahrain is also home to the US Navy's 5th Fleet.
This British base in Bahrain will complement the American base in Bahrain, so the two Western hegemonic powers, the United States and the United Kingdom, will now have forward deployed bases in the Middle East. And Bahrain is the staging ground for policing the Middle East, for these hegemonic powers to impose their will on the Arabian Peninsula and on extracting all of the resources at their behest in the Middle East and the larger region. So these are imperial bases, and they should be looked upon as hegemonic imperial bases that are supporting this undemocratic monarchical regime.
With no real authority of its own, Bahrain has become a playground of regional and global powers in the Middle East.